Hey there, YouTube. This is SJM4306, and holy crap, it's hot outside today. I think it's supposed to be like 90 something all week, so it's absolutely insane. It's humid like crazy. It's gonna rain half the week. Anyway, I just got back and I'm sweating, but I got a new product to review in. I was contacted by this manufacturer. I think they're Retekess. Not sure exactly how to pronounce that. Anyway, they make like a lot of emergency radio stuff. It looks like they have like solar powered ones and like hand cranked ones and whatnot. And they asked me if there was anything I was interested in reviewing, and I saw this little radio. I actually do still listen to FM in the morning, and actually while I'm working, if there's something halfway decent on the radio, I'll just turn it on. Even if there's not, I need some kind of background music. And sometimes I just like to hear people talking while I work, which is kind of odd. But anyway, I can always use an extra radio, so I thought, why not? This guy is the V115, and I'll have links down in the description below if you want to see this or some of their other products. What interested me was this isn't just like a digital radio. It actually has like built-in recording functionality. It can play MP3s and do all this other stuff, so I thought that was actually kind of interesting, and I wanted to take a look at this. Anyway, we are just going to pop this open, and this is actually rechargeable, so micro USB, and it uses one of these batteries that I'm sure everyone here is familiar with. It's a BL5C, which is, what was this in? So this was a very, very common battery. In fact, a lot of devices still use this kind of battery. Here you can see I kind of hacked in a another Nokia battery, but yeah, these were originally like phone batteries. But they still make them, and so you can get these for pretty cheap, and it's nice to see using kind of a somewhat standardized battery. Anyway, we have, I forgot to show you the back. Yeah, portable AM, FM, shortwave, MP3, etc., etc. Radio, mic, line in. You can record from any of the three. I believe it does limit you to 128 kbps, so I wouldn't use this for like recording music, but if you wanted to record off the radio, that's more than sufficient. And 1000 milliamp hour battery. It does come with a pretty thick manual, surprisingly. Nice little infographics. This does have a graphical LCD, so I'm actually interested to see what the GUI looks like. Anyway, we'll figure it out. The unit itself comes with a little lanyard. Now this is only, I want to say it's like an inch, the speaker, so I'm not expecting this to sound like absolutely amazing. And I'm wondering what this is actually. It's probably to open up the battery compartment, I guess, or something. I don't know. That's interesting. Anyway, clicky buttons for days. Okay, got that out of my system. There's about an 1.5 to 2-inch LCD. I believe it is backlit, and a nice little pull-out aerial. And the aerial itself is about a foot long. So we'll see how that works. And here it says Mega Base. There's actually a ported radiator. Wow, I was not expecting that. Yeah, so actually has a basically like a passive radiator on the back there. That's really interesting. There's like, interestingly enough, I can just barely see there's like a little bulge right behind that speaker. I guess they needed just like a few millimeters more clearance. But yeah, it's pretty uninspired. It looks like a radio, and it is a radio, so I guess we just pop it open. Is that really what this is for? Yeah, that is what that's for. Because I guess you could just use your finger, but kind of be annoying. So yeah, hopefully the battery has some charge in it. If not, I will be charging it. And yeah, it says 3 watts. That's the volume, I'm guessing, the audio output. 5 volts, 500 milliamps, charging, etc., etc. Will accept a TF card, so basically micro SD. USB for charging, line in, headphone. And that's pretty much your lot there. So let's turn it on. I guess the mic is all the way up in the corner there. That's interesting. Okay, you have to press and hold it for a second and a half. And yeah. Whoa, came with the volume all the way up. This user interface looks exceedingly similar to like kind of low-end MP3 players from back in the day. Like I used to have this one, I think it was like only a gigabyte, and I carried that around with me like everywhere. And the user interface, especially the volume bar, looks identical to that. So that's interesting. They're reusing assets. Let's see. We are on the AM band. So let's see.
Alistair Begg, Laura Story, and Michael O'Brien. You'll be surrounded by the fellowship of like-minded travelers, along with Bible teaching and worship.
Yeah, let me turn that down. Actually, do you know what? Just from the AM, that actually doesn't sound half bad. That sounds better than that little radio kit that I put together. I'm guessing due in fact to the fact that it's actually like sealed and it has a radiator. Let's switch to FM. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to play anything directly off live FM. You can see there are two white LEDs here. It's not evenly distributed or anything, but it's definitely viewable. You can definitely see this in the dark. And you can see the battery did come like 80% charged, so good on them for that. That's kind of the optimal storage state of charge for batteries. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to actually learn how to use this. If I need to reference the manual, but I'm going to play with this and dig up an SD card and come back to you guys, and we can actually run this through the paces.
Okay, so after using this for about a week, I've used this every single day actually. I turn this on in the morning. I listen while I'm getting ready for work. I listen to like a radio talk show, and it works great for that actually. The antenna is like super long too, so I don't get like particularly great. Well, the antenna is about, I want to say, a little over a foot, maybe a foot and a half, something like that. But anyway, I don't get particularly great reception in my house, and like I have a like a microsystem stereo tuner right next to me, and I actually had to splice like a super long antenna and like put it up high, and even then sometimes it doesn't really get great reception. But this guy does reasonably well in terms of the reception, and we'll just turn it on right now here. I will have to turn down the volume. Probably music's gonna start playing. Yeah. So I don't want to get a copyright strike. But anyway, it works great for radio. I haven't quite figured out how to do presets and whatnot, but I don't really use presets. I just usually leave it on the one station. There's not really that much on the radio that I listen to other than this one station. But anyway, so yeah, charging works fine. When you plug it in, it just animates a battery symbol that's like filling, and once it's done, it stops animating. It took about, to fully charge, somewhere around like 2 or 3 hours. I just left it alone and kind of checked it every once in a while. But yeah, if we go to mode, we can switch to the MP3 player. I have an SD card in here, and you can see here I have some video game OST. This is from Symphony of the Night. You can hear. But yeah, actually sound quality is a lot better than I thought it'd be for such a small speaker. Probably mostly due to the fact that it has this like a bass port radiator. So the sound quality is, you know, quite a bit lower frequency than I would expect from something so small. I really like the user interface because I actually dug this out. This is my old MP3 player that I used to carry around with me everywhere. And you can see it. The user interface, the main menu obviously looks different, but if we just go and play music, you can see the user interface looks very similar. The top bar showing like, you know, all different modes, MP3. It says what the track number is. It has like, here, let's see. How do I exit? There we go. You can see I have bass boost on and the track count and all. That is actually pretty much almost identical to this here. It even has the battery icon in the same place. The only thing it seems that they added is this animated, like it's supposed to be like a multi-band EQ sort of thing that's supposed to go in line with whatever you're playing. I don't think, I mean, it's hard to tell. on these things, normally to test to see if this actually corresponds to really what you're playing, you would have to load a frequency sweep program. So yeah, it sometimes seems like it does correspond with the music that I'm playing, sometimes not so much. I don't know. But anyway, navigation is actually kind of intuitive, sort of. Let me just shut this one off. It didn't make sense to me at first at an intuitive level, but having used one of these players, at first I thought, okay, you can shuffle through, you can change the play mode by pressing this menu button, and it does one, repeat all, random, which I think I remember seeing in the listing they said it doesn't do random, but it definitely does, which I'm very happy about, and then repeat all, and then it just kind of cycles. I like leaving it on random. And it pretty much just goes through, even if you have folders, it goes through, if you're on random, it goes through all your music and it just shuffles it like you'd expect. But to actually select music, you have to press and hold the play pause button, and it brings up, you can actually, oops, nope. Cancel, don't want to delete. So you can actually go through and go through all your different folders. I can go up. And so you can see here, I just have all my video game music, and I'm able to go through and select whatever I want. Yeah, I think the UI could use a little bit of work. It doesn't really quite make sense in some ways. But once you're able to navigate, you can see here I can actually go through and change the EQ, manually change the play mode, or just use this button while on the play menu, or select whatever I want. So yeah, that actually works pretty well, and I can just go through here and just zoom through. One thing that this player has that I really liked is customizability. You can change the backlight color. This one, it's just stuck on white, but that's not really that big of a limitation. And if you know like the exact number of the track playing, you can actually type it in here. I can, for instance, just hit 1 and then play, and it'll start at track 1. But that's really unwieldy when I have like literally 2,000 files on this SD card. I'm not going to memorize exactly what, but if you just wanted to randomly jump to something, I guess that could work fine. I did check the recording to SD card. It maxes out at 128 kbps, which is okay for like dictation, but I wouldn't actually use this to record music. That's probably fine though for recording FM radio, because you know the sound quality of FM radio isn't like super high to begin with, so probably 128 kbps was a decent choice. Though I would have liked to see if this could do 320 kbps, and it has an aux in, like a line in port that you can record in from. Then you could use this to record like streaming internet radio and all that kind of stuff. That'd be really cool to see. But yeah, I was actually really surprised. I didn't think I'd like the MP3 player portion as much. I thought I would mainly use this for the radio, but I found myself using this as just a speaker to listen to, you know, my MP3s and retro music and stuff like that, which ended up working out way better than I thought. Like I said, the user interface could use a little bit of work, but if you've ever used one of these cheap stick MP3 players, it's pretty much identical, the user interface, so it's pretty easy and quick to adjust to that. And once you know how it works just fine. Now, I haven't used a shortwave radio. I'm in the city right now, so I'm not too sure exactly what I would pick up on that. But then again, I've never really used shortwave radio. It's pretty much, I'm just going to stick with FM and the MP3 player. But in terms of those two things, it works fantastic. So we're just going to shut this off. Now, I actually did want to pop this open to see what kind of quality the circuitry inside is going to have. Okay, so now I have a screwdriver. I just see a couple screws kind of along the periphery. And this one's a different size, so just need to make sure. And I believe I got all the screws, so it should just kind of pop open, which looks like it is. Oh, maybe I had to remove the SD card. Okay, yeah, there's a little bit of adhesive, it looks like, keeping the back cover on. And it does look like I have to, yeah, clear the jacks. And I'm not going to be able to open this completely because it looks like there's some stuff glued together. Okay, yeah, it looks like they actually did a proper job of putting kind of foam tape between the partitions to seal the audio chamber. Here you can see the tiny little, really adorable passive radiator. You got our speaker here. There's that slight bump cutout that I noted on the back for that. And we have our AM antenna. What else? We have our FM antenna. You can see it just is kind of glued in, and it looks like they use that like really thick glue to make sure that the air is sealed. And they even use some extra tape, it looked like, for these little bits and a little cutout to seal the two different cavities. That's good to see. Here we have what looks like the main chip. And this, you can see traces going over to the audio input and output jacks, as well as the SD card slot. So this is going to be our main IC. There's another chip right here. Not quite sure what exactly that's doing. Actually, now that I think about it, wait a minute. This is probably the audio amp chip. I'm guessing, yeah, they went with mono because there's only one speaker, because you can see the traces go right over. This must be the FM chip. Yeah, so it's going to be probably a digital FM tuner. AM FM probably, because it handles both. You could see all the traces going over, and there are some test pads, M+, M-. See, the antenna kind of goes into this circuitry over here. Yeah, so that's going to be your tuner. Here's a USB port, battery connector, clearly. Now that I think about it, this chip could be for the lithium charging circuitry. It's somewhat located near the battery connector. We see some discretes around here. Microphone is going to be up here. It's just going to be a small electret. And let's just take off. There's only like 2 or 3 screws. Might as well pop this board off and see what's underneath. I'm not expecting really to see much on the other side other than the buttons and the LCD. There we go. And yeah, it's one of these 128 by 64 LCDs. I got a little bit of dust on there already. And these are serial modules, I believe. Yeah, you can see the backlight right underneath the LCD, and then the ribbon looks like it's soldered straight to the main board there, and a bunch of tact switches, and that's pretty much it. Looking at an angle, I can't really see anything underneath the screen. I don't think there really is any circuitry. I just see a single wire soldered from the screen. So yeah, anyway, let's speed reassemble everything together. I do just want to note, also forgot main crystal for the oscillator. But I mean, the circuitry is laid out. It looks really good. Soldering's good. I don't see any issue with the assembly or anything like that. So this looks like it was designed properly and some good thought was put into functionality versus what components should be used. Okay, so we're all back together. Let's see, which way does this go in? Upside down. Yeah, that's one other thing. Maybe marking which label side on the SD card would make it a little easier. They do have like a little drawing, but you don't necessarily know the orientation. But yeah, went together, came apart pretty easily, went together pretty easily. Looks like a pretty well designed thing. Now, I believe this cost, it was about, I think, 20 bucks. And for what you're getting, that seems like it's actually kind of expensive for like a little cheap digital radio. But I think with the built-in MP3 player and everything, that's not that bad of a deal. And just switch this on again. Like I said, it does have a couple of flaws, mostly in the user interface. Just turn that down. But other than that, I'm actually pretty happy with this, and this is something I think I will use pretty much daily, just listening to the radio, or if if I don't want to fire up the full stereo to listen to just some video game soundtracks or something that I don't need like great, super massive sound quality, but I just want something I can listen to. I really like the large display. User interface, or the graphical interface on the displays, is really well done. It's exactly in line with this guy, and I've used this for years and years when I was a teen, so I was very happy with that. Everything more or less works exactly as you'd expect. Sound quality is better than I expected, in fact. I just realized I forgot to put the lanyard back on. Where did that go? In the corner there. Anyway, that's not super important. It's just for removing the battery, which you could use a quarter to do anyway, so it's not that big of a loss. One other thing I wanted to mention, for this lithium battery, it might have actually been better if they would have had to make it a little bit thicker or add some battery humps. If they added AA batteries instead of the lithium battery, this would make a better like emergency radio. The only thing is, if you were to keep this as an emergency radio, probably by the time you go to use it, the lithium battery would be dead, unless if like every 6 months if you fully charged it. But yeah, it would have been nice to maybe have an option where you could use like AA or AAA batteries. One other thing that I've noticed is there is some kind of support stand material on the plastic to try to keep it from wobbling over, but I find often just going to touch it to press a button or something, I'll knock it over accidentally. So I think it would be really useful if they had maybe a kick out or a piece of plastic or something that swung out, that you can, hold it at a slight angle and prevent it from knocking over so easily. Because they made it super thin, so that's great for fitting in a pocket, but then, it wobbles quite a bit and it's easy to knock over. These are kind of nitpicks, I think, but they got most of the design right, I think, in my opinion. It's just a few small tweaks I think they could make that would make this a lot better. But overall, I think for a $20 digital radio with a built-in MP3 player that more or less just works, I think this is a pretty good investment. I will definitely be using this every single morning. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I actually thought it was pretty interesting popping this open, seeing what's inside exactly. But anyway, if you guys are interested in picking one of these up or checking out, they have a number of other radios. They have really cool ones that are like solar powered and wind up and whatnot, and I think those might be better choices for emergency radios. This is just a general use everyday radio. I'll have links down below to their eBay store, as well as to this product specifically, but they sell a number of radios, and I'm sure if you have a specific need, they have a model for it. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and super huge thanks to Retekess, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, for sending the V115 in for review, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.